if people have heard the phrase Catholic social teaching, one of the contexts which they've surely encountered it is the political context.
Yeah.
Because the church is political. This makes people very uncomfortable. The claims that are made in the gospel, in fact, have downstream consequences in the way that we live. This is the whole challenge with the Obama administration on the contraceptive mandate. Christianity is not simply about the way that we worship, but it's about the entirety of our Christian lives, the entirety of our lives, the entirety of the way we live. So it's not enough to say that freedom of religion in the United States is the same thing as the freedom to worship or the right to worship, that in fact, dogmatic teachings of the church do have political consequence. So the church is going to be involved in politics, and there are very important reasons for that. But I think that the way that the phrase Catholic social teaching is often encountered is in line with social justice mandates that prescribe a set of political ideals or a set of political goals or a set of political aspirations that are just kind of loosely baptized.
Yeah.
So someone will make a statement. Often it may represent something exclusive in a political platform, and then cite a Bible verse or a vague kind of teaching of Jesus. They'll say something like, "Whatever you do for the least of these, you do unto me," and they'll claim that this is the sum total expression of Christianity, and therefore that particular political platform must be supported because this is representative of the gospel. So I think a lot of people, again, keeping it broad, so that might not be as accessible to some as maybe I would want it to be, but I think that, again, it can be this set of teachings, Catholic social teaching, is often encountered in politics, and it can be immediately polarizing or be encountered as polemic today. So that's really the long and short of what I wanted to propose.
Yeah, and I think that people have their own reasons for resisting what they might deem to be inappropriate incursion into the social or political sphere. I think we have kind of wonky notions as to our zone of autonomy or the place in which we should be free from dogmatic or moral or otherwise authority-based claims. I think a lot of those notions are wrong. Nevertheless, what the church is saying, in effect, is we have this history of meditation upon the mysteries of the faith. Okay, so we have real dogmatic understanding of what God reveals and the grace that he mediates. We also recognize that has a profound moral impact. Okay, so that translates to a way of life, as you described, that has very concrete, very particular, peculiar influences, or that ought to have very concrete influences or consequences in our lives. And that we can actually speak with some scientific precision, or we can speak with some determination as to what this looks like in the social and political sphere. That's all we're saying. Basically, like, the church knows God and loves God. God reveals himself and mediates his grace. We're able to formulate creedal statements on the basis of which, relationship or interaction, we can then live a coherent Christian life. But then as we bring that coherent Christian life to different settings, social and political, there are ways in which we should live and ways in which we shouldn't live. And that can get pretty fine-grained. Mm-hmm. And that the church can speak to particular political systems, for instance, like Marxism, right? Like socialism, like totalitarianism of whatever sort. But even also, like, it can speak to capitalism in its excess or in its defect or whatever, and prescribe certain behaviors which are salutary for Christians who heed that encouragement, which is wild. Father Bonaventure, if you had the choice between holding a toad and subscribing to a YouTube channel, what would you choose?
Subscribe to a toad holding a YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh. Please subscribe to a toad holding a YouTube channel, especially if it's ours. Cheers.